Let's talk about enterprise AI. I mean, the hype is absolutely everywhere, right? Stanford's AI Index is calling it the most transformative technology of our century. And you can see it. Companies are pouring tens of billions of dollars into this, all chasing what they hope is a revolution. But if you scratch just below the surface of this massive gold rush, you find a really troubling paradox.
95%. That number, it's right at the heart of the paradox. It represents the staggering, almost unbelievable disconnect between what AI promises and the reality of what's actually happening inside most companies.
And look, this isn't some number we just pulled out of thin air. This comes from a huge 2025 report by MIT called the Gen AI Divide. They looked at hundreds of AI projects, and what they found was that the vast majority are just not delivering. They get stuck in what the report calls the pilot-to-production chasm.
And we're not just talking about a few software pilots that didn't pan out. No, this is a huge, quantifiable problem. We're talking billions in wasted capital, millions of work hours down the drain, and countless strategic plans built around projects that are delivering zero, absolutely zero, measurable return.
The damage isn't just on the balance sheet either. A recent survey found that for 42% of business leaders, the big push to adopt generative AI is actually tearing their companies apart. It's creating internal fights, power struggles, and this massive feeling of change fatigue. So yeah, something is fundamentally broken.
So that leads to the big question, right? If the AI models themselves are so incredibly powerful, why is there so much failure? Well, it turns out the answer has less to do with the technology and everything to do with how we're actually trying to use it.
The MIT report really nails the core issue down to something they call the learning gap. Think about it like this. A human colleague, they get better with feedback, right? They learn how you like things done, they remember context from yesterday. Most enterprise AI tools, they don't do any of that. They're basically static. They're forgetful. You have to start from scratch every single time. They just can't learn.
And you can see how frustrating this learning gap is for actual employees. 60% of users complain that the tool doesn't learn from their corrections. 55% are just sick of feeding it the same context over and over again. It honestly feels like you're working with a brilliant intern who has a severe case of amnesia.
And this creates this massive kind of dangerous disconnect. You've got 88% of leaders who are super confident they can steer the ship, but down on the ground, their employees are way more skeptical. Only about half of them actually trust their managers to lead this change. So leaders are up here, seeing this amazing new tool, while their teams are dealing with a workflow that's just broken.
You know, one CIO in that MIT report just laid it out perfectly. He said, "We've seen dozens of demos this year. Maybe one or two are genuinely useful. The rest," he said, "are just wrappers or science projects. They look great on the surface, but they fall apart under any real-world pressure."
Okay, but here's the wild twist in the story. While the official company-bought AI is failing, AI itself is actually thriving inside these same companies. Get this, a whopping 90% of employees are using their personal AI tools at work, a lot of the time in secret. This whole shadow AI economy proves that people can get real value from AI, but only when the tools actually learn and adapt to them. So, if 95% of these big corporate initiatives are failing, what in the world are the other 5% doing right? Well, they're making one huge fundamental shift. They are moving beyond just automating simple tasks to automating entire business outcomes.
And the secret sauce here is a new kind of technology called agentic AI. Now, this isn't just another tool that helps you with a task. No, this is a system that you give a goal. It understands the objective. It actually creates a plan, and then it executes that plan, adapting as it goes. Here's the difference. It's like me handing you a power drill versus giving you a whole team of carpenters who can build the entire house for you.
Okay, let's make that super clear with an example. A standard generative AI is great for a single task, right? It can help you write some ad copy faster, but with agentic AI, you give it the business outcome. You say, launch a campaign for this new product. The agent then does the market research, creates the content, runs the actual campaign, and then optimizes it based on the results, all while keeping you in the loop. It's a whole different level. So, how are the smartest companies actually getting their hands on this power? Well, that MIT report is crystal clear on this. Trying to build these complex agentic systems in-house, it fails most of the time. It turns out, buying a specialized solution from a vendor who lives and breathes this stuff, you're literally twice as likely to succeed.
So it's pretty clear agentic AI is a different beast. So how do you measure its value? Because the old ways of measuring ROI, just counting cost savings, they just don't work here. They are totally inadequate.
We need a whole new playbook.
A really successful framework for agentic ROI is built on 4 pillars. First, of course, you've got efficiency, automating whole workflows. But it doesn't stop there. It quickly moves to generating new revenue, using AI to find opportunities you'd miss. Then it helps you manage risk by automating compliance. And finally, the real game changer. It delivers true agility, the power to innovate and react to the market faster than you ever could before.
Okay, let's look at a real-world example. A virtual care company, SurusMD, used an agentic platform to help with benefits navigation. And the results? They were just, wow. A 234% jump in doctors giving benefits advice and a patient engagement rate that was 10 times the industry baseline. And the best part? They launched this thing in under 6 months, which is less than half the time it would have taken to build it themselves.
And this isn't just for nimble startups. It even works in super-regulated industries like finance. Prudential used an agentic system to automate their content and their customer feedback analysis. The result? They got their campaigns to market 70% faster while improving their compliance. And they freed up their creative team's capacity by 40%. See? That's what real, multifaceted ROI looks like. It hits on all cylinders.
So, what does embracing all of this really mean? Well, it's about way more than just buying a new tool. It's about building a fundamentally new kind of organization, what we can call the agentic enterprise.
And here's the thing. This transformation isn't an IT project to solve. It has to come from the absolute top. A McKinsey report found that the single biggest predictor of AI success is the CEO's personal oversight of AI governance. That proves it. This is a core business strategy, period.
And the long-term vision here is, well, it's pretty mind-blowing. It's this idea of an agentic web. Just imagine a future where all these specialized AI agents from different companies and vendors can find each other, communicate, and actually collaborate to execute these incredibly complex workflows all on their own. We would go from just prompting a single AI to overseeing this whole world of intelligent systems working together for us.
So this all boils down to one really critical question for you. That 95% failure rate, it's not just a statistic. It's a choice. It's the choice to keep treating AI like it's just a shiny object for simple tasks. The successful 5%, they are making a very different choice. So the real question for your organization is this: are you just piloting AI, or are you actually building the future?